Hi, you guys. My name is Angie Pickering. I'm the Marketing Communication Coordinator at the Lighthouse of Houston. For more than 85 years, the Lighthouse of Houston has been supporting individuals who are blind or low vision through our health services, assistive technology resources, community and support programs, vocational skills training, and internal employment opportunities. We serve over 14,000 individuals annually through our programs, services, activities, and events. We foster communities of belonging with accessible resources that enable personal and family well-being, learning, development, and employment. Of those we employ, 60% are blind or low vision. Our mission is to enable and empower people who are blind or low vision to realize their full potential. And our vision is a life without limits. Today, I'm here with our Youth and Adult Program Manager, Kathy Trim, as she shares some insight about accessible art.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how I became interested in art for the visually impaired. I was a teacher for the visually impaired for 14 years, and I found that my kiddos that if I had extra, time on a Friday or whatnot, they really enjoyed doing art projects, which was kind of surprising as a sighted person. But the more I was, doing these things with them, I realized, that art it's very good for everyone. It's kind of like it's in its own category. It's regardless of culture and language and everything, it's accessible. It's a connection for everybody, and we all have some kind of creativity in us, and it's really important that we acknowledge that for people with visual impairments, they have that same need for creativity in them. So in 2018, Linda Brown, who's a Brailleist, and myself, who was a VI teacher at the time, decided to create a program that we brought visually impaired people together to create their own tactile art, because in the city of Houston, there's not a lot that visually impaired people can go out and experience in art, because it's a hands-off kind of community. You can't touch the art. Don't touch. So there are a few things in Houston where they'll have, some tactile opportunities and such, but not just an art gallery where you can go in and just touch everything, which I'm going to go ahead and segue into that real quick. But here at the Lighthouse, just, a coming event, hopefully in the spring, we are going to open the gallery here at the Lighthouse, in which you can come in and touch all of the art. So we're super excited about that coming very soon. But like I was saying, back in 2018, we created this art program, and we called it Creating with Blind Abandoned. And we've been doing it with a little short break during COVID, but we've been doing it since that time. A year ago, we were able to partner with the Lighthouse and bring the program to the Lighthouse. So we're super excited to have the program here. It's open to families. It's a family environment that we have in the program, and we do tactile and accessible art every time. So in addition to and it's open for all ages. So the person with visual impairment is always welcome to bring their families along, bring siblings, bring your children, bring whatever. And we have a very nice community. We've been doing it a while, and we have a lot of the same people that attend. So it's really a nice atmosphere whenever we meet. And on Saturday, December 14th, that's our next meeting. So we're looking forward to that. So if you have time to come out and would like to participate with us and see what we're all about, come out. We're here from 1 to 3. And we'll be doing tactile art, and I will show you later the different kinds of things we're going to be doing. So for tactile art basically means that you can touch it. Okay, you can touch it. You can feel the different textures, the different shapes, the different forms, the different heights. It's something that can make sense to a person with a visual impairment who can't see just a painted picture. So anyway, so we always do a tactile part, but we also like to include a multisensory piece to it as well. So multisensory means we're bringing in hearing, we're bringing in smell, we're bringing in touch, of course, and sometimes even a little taste is included in it as well. So in the program, we use a lot of recycled recycled pieces. So the kind of things we do, you can do at home. You can do it with, items that you find. And I'll give you some examples of different kind of things we've done to get your creative juices flowing. So anyway, we also like to include Braille in our art. And there are several artists out there in the world that actually use Braille as their art. So it's really kind of cool. So to get started, I'm going to go ahead and show you a piece that we've done in the art program before. And it was a layered chunky art is kind of what we called it. So we got a canvas. And did you want to show it? Okay, we got a canvas and we layered different textured items. Can you see it? It's a little blurry.
Blurry.
Oh, wow. Well, it's got pieces on it. I wonder what that's all about.
I know.
Anyway, we just layered different textured and heights and shapes and there it is, and things on the canvas. And then we just started painting all over it with the different, this particular piece has like metallic paints on it. But then we got little wooden circles and we created Braille on the piece. So this says LOVE. So this says love for the art piece. And we also decorated the frames and just put those layers. So it's very tactily interesting for a person with a visual impairment. They can come, they can feel the Braille, they can feel the different, find, oh, this is a heart. Look, I found a heart on it, or things that are touchable, things for them to explore, and things that just really have a good meaning for the visually impaired, but also it's also kind of cool for the sighted. So, it's not only for visually impaired, but if you're an artist out there and you're interested in doing some art, consider tactile art, because this opens up a whole world for people with visual impairments. It opens up the opportunity for them to join in the art culture more. So this was just an example of some of the things that we do with Braille on it. In addition, we have another piece that we've done. Oh, let me block you out, Angie. Sorry. We have another piece that we did recently. And this was a thankful tree is what we did. It was around Thanksgiving. And whenever you're doing tactile art, again, this is stuff that anybody can get. So the trunk of the tree is just rice. It's colored rice. Okay, so just the different colors, the different textures of that. And that made the base. And then we just used colored tissue paper to make all the leaves on the tree touchable. Okay, and then we added some 3D elements to it of butterflies flying out, because butterflies represent your dreams and your hopes and the things you're grateful for. And then in addition, we also included Braille. So this says blessed, and this one says grateful, unless some of the dots fell out. But anyway, that's what it originally said. But we tried to make it where it's accessible for people who are blind or low vision, or anyone in general. I mean, this hangs in my office right now just because I think it's a cool piece. So anyway, we do things like that. In addition, we use a lot of recycled objects and things in our art. So I'm going to show you a really fun one we did. This is a little robot kind of art. Now this actually this is an art style called assemblage art. So this is actually something you can go on Etsy and find and things, or you can just find pieces in Grandpa's garage and make it yourself, which is basically what we literally did. We went to some people who had old barns, old garages, and just found pieces of random stuff. And that's what makes this one so much fun. It's really recycled to the bone. Okay, we've got wire. Well, that's the hair now. And then we just put nails and bent the bottle caps around it. And so anyway, it's a self-expression. And then I found a little purse and I was like, well, she needs a purse too. So I just hung that on it. So really, this is all about your creativity. I did this with my grandson. He's 5. He had the best time doing it. He ended up putting forks, and it was his idea. So we just kind of made a little hole, scratched out and poked the end of a fork in. So that was his hands were the forks. Anyway, this is super fun for people regardless of your sensory abilities. But anyway, this is very, very much fun for people with visual impairments to explore, to be creative on, what they think the different face pieces will look like. And really, Pinterest could be your best friend if you're coming up with ideas for things to do with people with visual impairments, or just get creative and just grab what you have and make something out of it. And like I said, we did assemblage art one day and everybody had a really good time. Just we laid out pieces of everything and screws and bolts and just all kinds of stuff. Like, I don't even know what the nose is. I really don't know, but I'm like, oh, cool nose. And then it's okay. My eyes are totally different. This one's lower. This one sticks out more. So what? It's art. So that's the thing. The main thing that I'm trying to get people to understand is art isn't perfect. And the less perfect it is, the cooler it is a lot of times. So, for instance, in my program, sometimes the parents want to kind of take over and make sure the eyes are exactly right. No. That's not what art is. Art is also personal. So whatever you want to do in your art, in your robot, in whatever you want to do, it's completely up to you how you want to do it, because that's what art is all about. It's about your own self-expression, about your own style. And so anyway, this one was a fun piece to get that concept across. So if your little one is doing some kind of crazy art and you're like, oh, but the eyes are not on top of the head. Well, they are for this project, So just be open to letting them explore, even if they're blind. Don't put pity in it at all. Let them be creative, regardless of if they put the eyeballs on the head. It doesn't matter. Okay. Again, self-expression, let them do it how they can do it, because that's what's going to be meaningful to the people who do it and the people who love them and want to say, oh, look what they did, and it's okay if it's not to your standards. It's art. Let it go. So that's another piece we did. And I really like that one as well. So continuing with that concept, more of textures. One, I guess it was a summertime, we did beach bottles. So we just took old wine bottles, and texture is the important part of this. So every piece is a different texture added to this. We used the base of the bottle is just gauze, that gauze you get from medical supplies and stuff. And we just wrapped it and painted over it and just layered the gauze in all around the bottle. We painted once it was glued to it, it was easier to then paint and decorate. We added different kinds of twine and ropes. We gathered shells and added them as well, some random little pearls, and we wrapped the bottom with twine and the top with twine. So this is kind of a decorative piece, but for a visually impaired person, this would be very interesting. So think different textures. Don't have everything feeling the same. That way they can distinguish between the parts of it better, and it makes more sense to a person who explores things tactually. So this can, you could do this for any project really and use it as a vase or a little tchotchke or whatever you want. And in addition to that, like I said, we try to include the multisensory pieces. So another element that people don't think of often is sound. So including sound into the art can be really interesting. For instance, I saw a piece of art, and I heard that it used to be in Houston by University of Houston. It's now moved, but it was a sound, it was an artistic thing made out of steel pipes, but the different ways the pipes were arranged, it caught the wind differently, and it would just make sounds, and they would call it like the songs or whatever. And that kind of stuff is very, very interesting. It adds that extra element to it. Wind chimes are also a super easy way to incorporate that. You can use your typical wind chimes, or you can get crazy. Okay, so this is literally a little old record that we used to, we used to actually use to listen to music way before, back in the old days. But you just hang different kinds of beads from it. Another way to add sound to it would be to add bells to it, or add things that'll clink together, add metal pieces. This was simply beads, and they will make their sound as well when they're blowing in the wind. But think chime sounds, add metal pieces that'll click whenever they blow. I've seen art done, wind chimes done with silverware. So silverware, when it clinks together, it makes a really cool sound too. So all of these things, adding that extra level of, a sensory level to it, is going to really be attractive for people with visual impairment. So think about those sort of things as well. Think about things that you may have around the house. If you're a parent and you have little ones, you probably have puzzles somewhere, and you probably don't know where half of the pieces are. Don't throw it away. If my daughter's watching, she's always telling me I just have too much junk and I need to get rid of it. And I say, it's for art. So now that's her joke about me, because I won't get rid of stuff because I can use it for art. But I really do. So this, I just cut a piece of material out using a Cricut in a heart shape, or you can use anything really that you find in a heart shape at the hobby store or whatever. But then we literally just painted old puzzle pieces and layered them on top of each other. And that makes a very interesting heart, for people to feel. And the colors don't really matter. And I just did it because I was doing it for my personal enjoyment. But colors, again, don't matter, whatever, because whenever you're doing tactile art for visually impaired, you got to get out of the habit of looking for colors, because sensory beyond sight is what we're looking at. We're looking at, oh, this paint feels interesting, and maybe it's textured paints, and maybe you use different paints with different textures for each kind. That way you can go and say, oh, this is the pink one, I made it with sand in it. Oh, this is the blue one because I made it with rice in that. You can throw different things into your paint to make it different textures, and then use that, and that'll be their distinguishing piece. It will be the sensory, the tactile sensory instead. Again, we always try to incorporate Braille, and the people who come to our art program, they don't always use the Braille, because not everybody's a Braille reader. And a lot of people that are low vision come in, they may just want to write it out. But this says it's the heart for love, and then you to pieces. So I made this with Braille, love you to pieces. So anyway, you can think outside the box when you're thinking of Valentine's. You could even take puzzle pieces and put on a card in the shape of a heart, and then you could make something that says love you to pieces. But now when you're giving it to a visually impaired person, they can feel that heart. It doesn't have to be a drawn colored heart. Make it out of stuff. Just any kind of stuff. And these puzzle pieces are a great idea, because you can find puzzles so cheap everywhere. And that's kind of what we've been in the habit of doing. When we were doing the art program by ourselves, we had to go to garage sales and Goodwills and resale shops and, different things, and find things that we said, oh, well, we could use that. And again, that goes back to, I keep everything. So anyway, this is another fun idea for art that you can use. Now we're getting into Christmas, right? Well, we're well into the Christmas season. So how can you do fun projects with your visually impaired kids, or for your visually impaired parents, or, adults, or people in your life? How can you make Christmas crafting fun for them? One thing we did last year in our art program is, let me see, I'm trying to get a tactile reindeer. Okay, so we just got a big, turn it to the side, it's just a chunk of wood, and we put red paint and glitter on it, and that's his nose. We added buttons above it. Okay, so it's on like maybe I don't know, what do you think, 12 by 6 rectangular chunk of wood, literally scrap wood. Okay. And so we had them paint the wood brown just for Rudolph's face. And then they were able to add glue on buttons for the eyes. And then at the top, we put some green moss for the back of, like the top of his head. We added ribbon for a bow to it. Again, bells. So you can hang this on your door and you're going to hear it when the door opens. Okay. And then we just got twine with wire in it and just twisted it for the antlers for Rudolph. This was a really fun project, but it's also kind of cool. It's kind of a, cool thing. So think that, there are so many things out there, and I don't come up with all the ideas. I look on Pinterest, or I look on different areas, or I see something in a store and say, oh, I could do that and turn it, make it more tactile by adding such and such, so you got to start thinking in terms of what makes it, the nose, also think everything can't be a pom-pom. Okay. So that's another thing that a lot of people, we'll just put a pom-pom. Well, if we put a pom-pom for the nose and a couple of pom-poms for the eyes, then really that's really not interesting to explore. Okay. So think of different textures, and even on the nose, the side of it is like bark. You can feel the bark. I bought these round pieces at Dollar Tree last year with several of them in a package. So you don't have to go, it's not a huge expense to be able to do stuff and make it interesting and fun. And, things they will be proud to have in their home, things like that. Another sensory piece that we did this year with the adults in the day program is we made ornaments out of. This is awesome because this is made out of cinnamon and applesauce. So you can still smell it. It smells so good. Okay. And I did it one year with one of my students, and she made so basically there's a recipe for cinnamon applesauce ornaments. Okay. It's really literally that's all that's in it. And you mix it up, you put it in make it into a dough, roll it out like you do cookies, and cookie cut it. Okay. And then another thing you can add to this, there are a couple of things. So for one thing, before it dries, you can get cloves that have the little pokey stem on it. And I've used that for Braille on it before. So you can put their initials, you can put their name, you can write the word joy or something small, on the cookie, and they can feel it tactily because now it's a small clove, but you can feel the dots for the Braille on it. So like I said, I did this with one of my students one year, and we had her put her name, her sister's names, and made ornaments for her whole family. And her mom told me the next year she had put them in a Ziploc bag. She said when she opened the bag to take them out, it was just as, fragrant as it was when she first brought them home. So this is a lot of fun to do, this kind of thing. Another thing you can do that I saw an idea on a different ornament was they press thumbprints into it. So you're making the indentation for the thumbprints, okay? And then they can come back and paint the thumbprints, and then you could say, oh, look what you did when you were 4. Look how little your thumbs were, whatever. All of those things that we do to save things over the years with our kids. This is another great idea because this is something that you can use year after year, and you can watch them grow and do something different next year. You can also make them out of the salt dough clay stuff. You can use clay. You can use lots of things. One thing that's probably not the best is that air dry clay. I think it kind of crumbles over time. But these kinds of things, think sensory. So in addition to just adding the cinnamon, we've also added pumpkin pie spice to it to add, like, juice it up a little bit and do different kind of, if you did the salt dough, you could add different kinds of essential oils or whatever into it to give it that extra fragrance. Okay. And some more things that we've done. Again, I really like using the scrap wood because it's so rustic and so much fun to use. But really, this honestly is so easy to do with anyone. You just put these are popsicle sticks. Of course, they have a different shape. I'm sure they're for a special craft, but we had them, so we used them. So you just basically put the triangle down. That's your Christmas tree. Then the inside, This person chose to use pom-poms for it, and that's fine. So and now you have your decorated tree. We've also used buttons in it. We've used beads. We've used, all kinds of different things in these designs. And again, lay out an assortment. Let them decorate their tree however they want to. Use sequins, use bows, use whatever. Just throw it all out there. Let them get creative. Throw out some yarn. Maybe they want to do like lights strung in and out of the tree. You just put stuff out and let them decide how they want their tree done. Okay. Once you have the basic triangle, it's very easy for them to find the boundaries, of where to put it on, and they'll know what's on inside and what's outside as well. We had some little wooden stars, and we had little wooden hearts too. So they decided they wanted a heart on top of the tree, and they also wanted their picture decorated with a heart. Okay. And then they put some of the little blingity bling stuff on the side. That's the thing about it, is they can decorate, because, for example, the project was supposed to be a tree with something decorated. This person said, but I want stuff outside of it too. So they took it to the next step. So really, you get, whenever, and we always say that whenever we are doing our art projects on our Saturday workshops, we say it's called creating with blind abandon, not copying with blind abandon. So we give you an idea whenever you come, and we say, look, this is an idea you can do with this. However, use your creativity to make your art. So we've had times that people came and they did a totally different project, but that's okay because it's their art. Okay. So, and we have the same materials out. If there's something that they want to do differently with it, then that's fine. Of course, the majority will stick to, the basic idea, but we're open and non-judgmental, and we want everybody to get in the habit of thinking outside of your own box, doing your own creative thing. That's what's really important. So this is all, again, another piece that you can use over and over again as well. Another project that we did using a different kind of bottle. Okay. We made, they were given the option that they could do a snowman, they could do a Grinch, they could do whatever they want. And so this person chose to do a Grinch, and it was very simple. We just glued glitter all over the bottom in green, right? So again, the color doesn't matter. It's just the texture, okay? And then we kind of went against that rule and put red glitter at the top. So another idea that you could do for the top would be using a red ribbon, a red, red piece of material, or something with a different texture to distinguish this is green, this is red. Okay, so we kind of distinguished it by adding gauze. Again, that's a really fun one and easy to add. We could have easily added ribbon. We could have added a bow. We could have done whatever. But for Santa Claus's hat, for the Grinch, it's the white, and then we put a pom-pom on the top. So, and for the face, of course, he's known for yellow eyes. So again, it's for both ways. We just laid out and gave them yellow eyes to add to it. And then whatever you want for a nose. So we have pom-poms. We use pipe cleaners that they could shape in any shape they wanted to make a mouth. So this, again, is a fun little project that you can do with people with visual impairments. And it's most of the things we do are inexpensive, very inexpensive to do. So it's accessible for everybody, just a bottle, whatever kind of bottle you have, you can use. And a lot of times you can go, and a lot of the places will have different kinds of bottles they're giving away, or other things like that as well. So I have a couple of more Christmas ideas. This was a fun one we did one year. It actually has Frosty the Snowman song music behind it, but to add that extra layer of accessibility, we actually brailled the song on the paper. So it was brailled on top of the print, and then it was glued to the board. Okay, so now we have Frosty the Snowman song glued on the board. And then we took a shape, a basic shape, like maybe a cardstock piece that was cut into the shape of a snowman. Okay. And then you could feel the shape, like when it goes up to make the hat, you could feel that. So then they place that onto the board. Okay. Then it was totally up to them on how they wanted to fill in the snowman. Okay. And then we also gave them the option of having a black hat if they wanted a different hat or whatever. It was up to them, but just showing that we put, well, in this, we've got buttons, we've got beads, we've got different jewels and different things in the actual piece itself to fill in. See, there were buttons, and they stood out, as the buttons on the snowman. And then we had ribbon, that one kind of ribbon that we used for like a scarf. And then on the top part, we just used black pony beads for the whole, I can't see what I meant, the whole hat. And then we just put glittered ribbon with a little snowman, a little snow replica thing, a piece, plastic piece on here. And then we put some different snow pieces to decorate it. Another fun thing would be to add a bell to it to give it that extra sensory piece. So, just get creative with that. So this one we did add the Braille to, and people who read Braille really like that, but people who don't read Braille can still feel it and say, oh, that's really cool. And it may be a good teaching experience for if your child is a Braille reader and they have their art out, and then they can explain that this actually says Frosty the Snowman in Braille, things like that. So you can bring in all kinds of interesting things to bring the art, And I want to go ahead and do my teacher piece just because, like I said, I was a VI teacher for 14 years. And most of the time, a lot of VI teachers will try to pull their students to work with them one-on-one. They'll pull them from specials a lot of times so they don't miss that curriculum, the core curriculum. So every time I would pull a student out of art, they would be doing something like Play-Doh, while the rest of the class would be doing something big, something else. But a lot of your teachers just are not aware of how to make it tactual. And that's not anything bad about them. They just, they don't know. I mean, before I started working with visually impaired people, I never thought about it. And I probably would be the teacher that gave them Play-Doh because, what else? They can't see it. But there are ways that you can make any kind of art project that the class is doing, you can do a tactile version of it. So it's really important to get involved with the art teachers out there, especially if you're a VI teacher, and say, what kind of projects do you have coming up? How can I help you make that tactile for them? Because even though it's art class, it still can be a very meaningful class for people with visual impairments. Even if you're totally blind, there's a way for you to access the concept of the art piece itself just by getting it in those different pieces and different tactile elements. Okay, so that's just my soapbox for art class at school. Okay, and also in addition to that, like I said, we have Creating with Blind Abandon here once a month. It's a free program, and bring your families and come see us, come join us, because in addition to creating a fun piece of art, a very nice piece of art, you're going to also meet people. You're going to meet parents. Like if you're a parent of a student with a visual impairment, you're going to meet other parents that share your same journey, and being able to connect and support each other. It's been a phenomenal support system for the parents and for the kids to meet kids that understand, what they're going, the way they access things. So anyway, it's different. And our kiddos talk, we try to get the kids involved with each other, and anyway, it's also a fun way to educate parents about, let them try it themselves. And so anyway, we're very, very don't do it for them. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look good to you. It doesn't have to look good to you. Let them do it. So anyway, I really encourage you, if you know people with visual impairments in the Houston area, if you know kids or whatever, send them our way, because this is a really fun thing that we do, and it's also free. So, it's on a Saturday afternoon from 1 to 3. The dates are listed on the Lighthouse website. In addition to that, like I said, Saturday, we're doing our big Christmas project. So this is a project we've done once before, and it was such a hit, we had to do it again. So this piece right here is what we're doing Saturday. So this is just a frame, and you can see the glare from the glass. Okay, it does have the old Christmas tree song in it, but that's just for visual. Okay, that's not accessible. Okay, because it has to be behind glass, because if we glue this heavy tree on the paper, it's going to pull the paper off and tear it up. So we have to glue the triangle piece directly to the glass. So we just added that extra piece just to the back of it. Just, not everybody, some people can see some, and they'll just know. And it also makes a very special piece. What did we make this out of? Old costume jewelry. People had donated costume jewelry to us in the past, and we were able to just take the pieces apart. And again, we lay it out in little bowls, and we have the kids just come and get pieces. What do you want it to look like? What do you want to feel inside of your Christmas tree? And just using all the different elements in it. Like, we found something we could put for the bottom of it. What was this? Okay, it was just a big bead, okay, for the bottom of the tree. So, and then we found a chunky piece that could be the top of it. Look, it's not a star. It's not, a Santa Claus or whatever goes on the top. It's just a beautiful piece. So, for this particular one, it was lined just like in a necklace. Just a very thin necklace was used on this piece. And then just filling it in with all those jewelry pieces. This is a very, very nice a nice gift to make for somebody, or a nice thing to put out over and over. Now, where did I get this idea? I'm sorry, I'm not really good with this camera. Okay, where did I get the idea? I went to a Christmas market one time, and they were selling these for a lot of money. They were like, I don't know, $50 or whatever. They were a lot of money. And so we said, we can have our people do this, because this is very, very tactile. So we just asked for donations. And if any of you guys out there have any old costume jewelry you want to donate, feel free to do that as well. But you won't be able to, because you're going to be making your own project. But this particular frame came from Goodwill for like $2.99. Okay, you don't have to go buy expensive stuff. Go to resale shops, go to garage sales, go to whatever, and just get those. A lot of times people will be giving away picture frames just because they don't want them anymore, or set them out on the curb or whatever. Just get the picture frames, and then you can just, again, triangle. Well, actually, this actually had the base on it as well. So just do like a cardstock or paper or whatever, just so the visually impaired person needs to be able to feel the edges to know where to stop with the jewelry. Okay. So having that started, if they outline it with a necklace or beads, or just around the edges, start with around the edges, then they have their boundary. Then it's just filling in with whatever you want. If you find you have a lot of chunky pieces, but now you have a lot of holes, just get the tiny beads and just put some glue in there and just like sprinkle it in, and they'll fall and they'll drop to where, well, when you're working on it, you're going to be working on it flat anyway. So just spread the beads in, let the glue dry, and then when you pull it up, all of your little pieces are filled in. So you're not really seeing through it, unless that's how you want your art. If you want to see through it, then that's your option. But to get, a piece that looks similar to this, that's just how this one was done. Okay. So again, Saturday, this is what we're going to be doing, a project like this. And we hope you guys can come out and join us and meet some people and have a good time. So, and then my little plug for the programs, put on my programs manager hat. We have lots and lots of programs coming up for people with visual impairment. So we have adult programs, and we have the youth programs, and we have family programs coming up. So I'm going to do a little quick spiel about what we're doing next. Okay. So we just finished our Santa Sip Shop Santa event, and it was so much fun. We had vendors come out, and they brought things to sell that were multisensory, that were tactile, and that people could do shopping while they were there visiting Santa and Mrs. Claus. We had both of them. We're very lucky. So anyway, that was a lot of fun, but that one's finished. So our next up on the agenda is our pre-New Year's Eve party. So it's an accessible casino night. So this is an adult program, obviously. So it's going to be free of charge to attend. Okay. It's on December 28th, the Saturday before New Year's. Okay. We're not staying till midnight. Okay. It's not anything like that. Taken into consideration, a lot of adults use Metrolift and things like that and don't want to get home that late. The time that has been scheduled is from 5 p.m. until 8 p.m. So that gives us 3 hours of playing time. So how are visually impaired people going to do casino games? Well, we have Braille and large print playing cards. We have talking dice. We have other, like a spinner, we're going to adapt into like a roulette. And we're going to have other games like that. We're going to have karaoke. We have a karaoke stage. We're going to have mocktails. So we're going to have a couple of bartenders there. We will not be serving alcohol, but we'll be serving we'll be serving drinks that just don't have the alcohol in it, just for fun. And then in another room, we're also going to be having bingo, which is a big hit for a lot of people. The bingo will be in large print and Braille, and you have the option. You can just go do the bingo if you want, or you can come do the casino, or you can do both. It's totally up to you. But it's just going to be a fun way for us to ring in the new year, because a lot of times people just, a lot of people don't want to get out on New Year's Eve anyway, but there's not a lot of accessible things out there for holidays like that. So we want to try to, get the community involved. So these programs are open to all of the visually impaired adults in the community. So there's a registration on the website that you can register for that. And that's December. January, we have a wine tasting event coming up. February, we're having a dinner for two event coming up around Valentine's. March, super, 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 super fun one. Please mark this on your calendar. I don't know the date, do you? 24th? Anyway, look on the website. But we are having a family rodeo day, okay? So this is open to families, adults and kids with, visual impairments in your whole family, okay? So what are we doing for our rodeo day? Well, we're going to do things like we're going to try to get a country band to come play for us. We're going to have somebody from another area come over and teach us line dancing. We're going to have hopefully some barbecue, and then definitely we're going to have a mechanical bull. Yay! We're going to have a mechanical bull. It's going to be so much fun, and don't be afraid of it. Anybody can do it. It's controlled of how fast the speed is and the bucking and all that kind of stuff. And if you fall off, you're falling on a big giant pillow. So it's not dangerous. And it would be a really awesome opportunity for people with visual impairments. I think you'll love it. So, and again, in April, we'll have our beeping Easter egg hunt like we do always. And this year, I think we're going to include a craft fair in with that as well. And then just, keep your eyes open on our events page and see what we have coming up. So there's a lot of things out there, and we're going to be adding a lot more. So we want to keep you active and keep you involved with us, and get out of the house. Come play with us. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? You'll have to read them because I can't see.
For sure. It says Suzanne Wilson, thank you. She said, great ideas for casino night.
Oh,
so someone's excited.
Yay. Sign up.
Yes,
There's registration is open. Let's do it.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. Does anyone else have any questions? Or Kathy, do you have anything else you think you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything right off. But please, if you guys have any questions about any of our programs we have at the Lighthouse, please just contact me. You'll see me on the adult and youth part of our website. So you can call me or email me or anything.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Let's see. It doesn't look like we have any more questions or anything. So
thank you all. Thank you for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And we'll see you guys soon. Bye, y'all.
Bye-bye.